In lesson 10 and 11 we looked at finding the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of numbers, and that's fine if the numbers are fairly small and it's easy to list the factors or easy to write out their times tables. But sometimes, for example here we've got 64 and 224, it's a lot of work to list out all of the multiples and all of the factors until we find the highest common factor or lowest common multiple. If you have any difficulty with this though, please do make sure you go back to use the standard method for highest common factor and lowest common multiple, because you will still get marks for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down, we're going to decompose each of these numbers into a product of prime factors, and we're going to put those factors into a Venn diagram. Now, those which are in the intersection, which are factors of both of the numbers, is going to give me my highest common factor, and those which are in the union, which is in the entire area of the two sets, will give me my lowest common multiple. So let's have a look at how we do this. So we're going to start by decomposing 64. So let's do that over here. So 64 is an even number. So 2 goes in 32 times, 2 goes into 32 16 times, 2 goes into 16 8 times, 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 and 2. So I've got 64 I can write, and it doesn't really help me to write it in index form, so I'm going to write it out in full. It gives me 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 6 times, and we can just work that out in our heads. 2 times 2 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64. So that looks as though it's right. We're now going to do the same thing for 224. So I'm going to write out 224 here. 2 goes into it, goes in 112 times. 2 goes into 112 56 times. 2 goes into 56 28 times. 2 goes into 28 14 times. 2 goes into 14 7 times. And 7 is prime, so I'm going to stop there. So 224 equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 1 2 3 4 5 times 7. Now that I've got them written as products of prime factors, I can put them into a Venn diagram. So I'm going to do that over here. So in the left hand I'm going to put my factors of 64, and in the right I'm going to put my factors of 224. And I'm going to start by trying to work out what's in both. So I've got that first 2, which is in factor of both of them. So I'm going to put a 2 in the middle because it's a factor of both, it's in both circles. My next 2 is in both circles because it's in both lists. I can put another 2 in that intersection. Can I put another 2 in? Yes, I can. There's the next 2, goes in the middle. The next 2 goes in the middle. Now, I've got 2 left over here, but there's no matching 2 over here. So this 2 is going to just have to go into the 64 circle. That's been dealt with. And this 7 is going to just have to go into the 224 section. Now, let's remember the highest common factor is the factors which are common to both numbers, so it's this area here. So let's work out what this is. So the highest common factor is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So that's this area here, which multiplies together to give 32. To get my lowest common multiple, I need to multiply everything. Well, let's not give ourselves too much work. I already know that these multiply together to give me 32, so I times it by 2 and times it by 7. So LCM is going to be 32 times 2 times 7. 32 times 2 is 64, so I'm going to do 64 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 6 is 42, add the 2 is 448. So the lowest common multiple for both numbers is 448. Okay, I'm going to give you a second just to write that down, and then if you can pause the video and then have a go at the questions yourselves. These are quite a lot of work, so I've only given you 4 questions to do. So you're going to start by using a factor tree to write them as a product of prime factors. Then you're going to do a Venn diagram, work out which ones go in the intersection, which ones go just in the individual circles, and then use that to find the HCF and LCM. Good luck. Pause the video now, try the questions, and then come back to me and we will mark them.